Alright, I got my 53-man roster prediction 2.0 post Hall of Fame game edition with this 16-man practice squad, of course. Something I always like to add that I don't really see anybody else do. And let's go ahead and get right into it. Now, horrible game for the Lions. Not a lot of stuff is going to change in this video. A lot of practice squad stuff will change in this video. But in terms of 53-man roster, there won't be much changes. So we're going to hopefully fly through this video. Hopefully this video is only 10 to 12 minutes at longest. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Now, I forgot to update this part. This is meant to be 2.0. Again, credit to these websites for the images. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Starting off the quarterback, nothing is changing here. I got Jared Goff and Hendon Hooker making it with Kyle Allen getting cut. I mean, I don't know what else I could do here. Just cut both of them and say a new quarterback is being brought in. I don't know what I could do here. I go with Hooker, who I think could still be a decent backup. I didn't think he was as bad as people were claiming he was in the Hall of Fame game. A lot of his receivers could not get open at all, and his offensive line was not helping him. So I'm going to say Hendon Hooker makes it over Kyle Allen here, and Kyle Allen was atrocious. Moving on to running back. I got 4 making it. Jahmyr Gibbs, Dave Montgomery, Craig Reynolds, Sione Vaki with Kyle Robichaux, Jabari Small, and Jacob Sayers for the Lions brought in from the Birmingham Stallions. Not making the cut, and Jabari Small bringing in former UDFA from Tennessee and former Titans running back. Not making the cut. Jabari Small was horrible in the Hall of Fame game opener. Looked very slow. He was a Justin Jackson and Jamal Williams combined style playing running back. He had the Justin Jackson aspect in terms of size and the ability to not break a tackle, and he had the Jamal Williams thing where he has no speed at all. And Jacob Sayers, we only had a couple attempts of him. He's only been on the team for a couple of days, so of course he ain't going to make it. And Kyle Robichaux, he did not play in the Hall of Fame game with, I think, an injury of some sort. Sione Vaki did not play either, but the Lions invested and traded up for him in the 4th round back in 2024 again, so obviously he'll make the cut. And Craig Reynolds, very good third-string running back. Moving on to wide receiver, got 6 making it. Got St. Brown, Jamison Williams, Tim Patrick, Isaac TeSlaa, Khalif Raymond, and nothing changing here. Dominic Lovett being wide receiver 6 with Jackson Meeks, Jacoby Keenan-James, Ronnie Bell, Tom Kennedy, and Malik Taylor not making the cut. Roster count is now up to 12. Nothing's changing here. Obviously, I'm going to take Dominic Lovett. I think Dominic Lovett played the best. Obviously, added Jackson Meeks, Jacoby Keenan-James, and all the other guys, Ronnie Bell, Tom Kennedy, and Malik Taylor, who would compete for the wide receiver 6 position. Obviously, the Lions are going to keep 6 wide receivers this year. And, of course, TeSlaa and Raymond will make it as well. So, essentially, who will win that number 6 wide receiver role? And I thought Dominic Lovett still proved that he's going to win that wide receiver 6 position. Moving on, or wide receiver 6 role. Moving on to tight end. Jackson Meeks. I want to talk about this real quick. Jackson Meeks was out there quite a bit, really didn't do anything. Jacoby Keenan-James only had 1 target and had that muff punt. Really didn't help his chances. Ronnie Bell, I didn't see on the field more than 1 or 2 plays. Tom Kennedy played the whole first half, only had 1 target, and that ball ended up getting picked on a bad throw by Kyle Allen, but that's the only target he had. And same thing with Ronnie Bell here. I didn't see any, maybe 1 or 2 snaps from Malik Taylor. Now moving on to tight end, I got still 2 making it. Laporta and Brock Wright with Zylstra, Kenny Yeboah, and Zach Horton not making the cut. The Lions ended up releasing Luke Dell with an injury settlement a couple days ago. That's why he is no longer on here. I don't think I talked about that yet, so I want to bring that up. Roster count is now up to 14. Shane Zylstra had 1 catch in the Hall of Fame game. Kenny Yeboah was out there for quite a bit. Same with Zach Horton. They did not have 1 target, so they're not going to make the roster. I didn't think they looked great either in terms of blocking. So everything stays the same here. If Shane Zylstra can do something, or any of these guys can prove to me that they can be reliable tight end 3, then I'll keep 3. But I just don't think we need 3 tight ends like we've kept for these past 2 years. I just don't think it's necessary in our offense. I really don't. Moving on to offensive line, I got 10 making it. Taylor Decker at left tackle, Mahogany at starting left guard, Glasgow at starting center, Ratledge at right guard, Panay Sewell at right tackle with Miles Frazier, who will miss probably the start of the season, but I don't think he will be on the PUP list. I think the Lions will just keep him on the active 53. Dan Campbell said he should be out probably till mid-September to early October, I think is what he said. But I don't think that's enough for the Lions to place him on PUP and have him for 4 games. He should only probably be out for 2 or 3 at the max. So I do expect him to make the 53-man. So he'll be the backup right guard. Skipper will be the backup right tackle / left tackle. Natane Mutai will make it as a backup left guard. Nothing changes there. Giovanni Manu will make his backup left tackle. And Kingsley Ekukun, that is something. The first thing that has changed this video, Kingsley Ekukun is making the 53-man roster over Tristan Colon. Not making the cut. Caleb Wosika, Tristan Colon, Colby Sorsdahl, Michael Neese, Jamarco Jones, Mason Miller, and Justin Herron that they just brought in yesterday at the recording of this video. Former 6th round pick by, I believe, Dallas back in, I think it was 2019 or 2020. Started, I believe, it was 13 games in 2020 through to the 2021 season, and then he's dealt with injuries ever since. And obviously, we haven't seen him play, so he's not going to make the roster. But this is the first change of the video. Kingsley Ekukun makes it as the 10th offensive lineman over Tristan Colon. I told you when we brought Tristan Colon, man, he was most likely either when we brought him in going to start at center for us or start at a guard position, or he was not going to make the roster. That's what I had with Tristan Colon. I did have making it as the backup center last video, but you're going to see in a little bit something that I said before when we brought Tristan Colon in. But yes, Kingsley I thought played decently well in the Hall of Fame game. You know, not great, but I thought he looked better than a decent amount of offensive linemen. So I know the Lions, including me, like Kingsley a lot. So I think he makes it over Clone as the 10th offensive lineman. Maybe KO sneaks in over Kingsley, but I think since Kingsley is the only designated center here, really, on this whole 10 offensive lineman, Glasgow is a guard / center. Everybody else is a multiple position type player. Kingsley kind of is the only straight center out of all of these guys. So that's why I had Kingsley making it. Now moving on to defensive end. Interior. I got 5 making it. I got DJ Reader, Tyleik Williams, Roy Lopez, Mekhi Wingo, and Pat O'Connor. That is the change making it, the second change of this video. Levi Onwuzurike made it last time, pushing out Pat O'Connor. But Levi Onwuzurike, since the last time I made this list, is out with the torn ACL for the 2025 season and playoffs. He is on the PUP reserve list, so he will not play this upcoming season at all, so he obviously won't count towards the roster. So Pat O'Connor now gets pushed on there. And, of course, Liam McNeil will be on the PUP list, miss at least the first 4 games of the season, most likely. He's ahead of schedule, so maybe he returns really ahead of schedule, like in week 2 or 3, but I highly doubt it. And, of course, Miles Adams, Chris Smith, and, of course, Broderick Martin, who was horrible in the Hall of Fame game, is not making the cut. Roster count is now up to 29. Now on the defensive end. I got 5 making it. I got Aiden Hutchinson, Marcus Davenport, Josh Pascal, Al-Qadim Muhammad, and Ahmed Hassanin making it. Not making the cut, Nate Lynn, Mitchell Agude, Isaac Onkwo, and Keith Cooper. Roster count now up to 34. Nothing changes here. Nate Lynn made a case in the Hall of Fame game to make me keep 6 or potentially even push out a guy like Al-Qadim Muhammad. But Muhammad, reliable veteran, he's going to get you probably 3 to 5 sacks a season, Muhammad. You don't know that with Nate Lynn. I mean, maybe you keep 6 defensive ends. I don't know. I mean, hopefully, we're probably going to do that if we end up bringing back Zadarius Smith or signing a different defensive end, maybe like a guy like Matthew Judon. Yeah, you never know. But if Nate Lynn continues to play like he is, maybe he does push out Muhammad, or maybe we keep 6. I don't know. But he was close. He's probably my 53rd guy to make this video. Moving on to a linebacker. Got 6 making it. Alex Anzalone, Jack Campbell, Derek Barnes, Grant Stewart, Zach Cunningham, and Trevor Nowaski, with Ezekiel Turner, Anthony Pittman, and Deron Gilbert not making the cut. And obviously Malcolm Rodriguez will miss the start of the season. He is currently on the PUP list. Roster count is now up to 40. Now, Anthony Pittman made the case to potentially push out Trevor Nowaski. Trevor Nowaski did not have a good Hall of Fame game, but I know how much the Lions love Trevor Nowaski, with him great on special teams and him being able to step in on defense and do an okay job if needed. But Anthony Pittman did make a case for him to potentially push out Trevor Nowaski, made a couple of really nice tackles in the Hall of Fame game. So if he continues to play like that, maybe pushes out Nowaski, but I just got to see a little bit more from Pittman. But nothing changes here. Moving on to cornerback. I got 6 making it. DJ Reed, Terran Arnold, Amik Robertson, Ennis Rakestraw. At the recording of this video, you'll probably see this after the injury designation has come out. At the recording of this video, Ennis Rakestraw got hurt today in training camp practice. He left with, I believe, a shoulder injury. So you'll know by the time of this video what the injury designation is. Hopefully it's nothing serious. And I'm going to let you know right now, if Rakestraw's injury is serious and he was to miss like the first 4 games or something like that, or the whole season, my guy that I would have making it in his replace would be Nate Lynn. So there's that if it is major injury and you're seeing this video after this fact. Now, Rocky Sin also makes it, had a great Hall of Fame game performance, and Cole Dorsey, expecting to play before the start of the season, will make it as cornerback 6. DiCaprio Boodle, Tassan Russell, and Nick Whiteside, who the Lions sent from the Stallions, not making the cut. Obviously, Stanley Thomas Oliver has got released with an injury designation prior to this video. And we assigned these 3 guys since the last 53-man roster prediction. But DiCaprio Boodle had a particularly not good day in the Hall of Fame game. Tassan Russell, I thought, played okay, but UDFA rookie, probably the best chance for him is practice squad. And Nick Whiteside, I didn't see one snap in the Hall of Fame game. Roster counting up to 46. Moving on to safety, I got 4 making it. Brian Branch, Kirby Joseph, Avonte Maddox, and Dane Jackson. By the way, cornerback, no changes there. In safety, there's no changes here. Dan Jackson making it to safety 4. Maurice Norris probably would have been my 55th guy to make it. Big fan of him. Not making it. Ian Kennelly not making it. He did make it. Case Doll on that really good tackle. I thought he looked very good as well. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Miles Killebrew. Not making it. Lauren Strickland, who I'm not a big fan of making it. I need to see a lot from him this preseason for him to have me making. I'm just not a big fan of Lauren Strickland. Eric Howard, I thought played decent in the Hall of Fame game. Maybe he makes it. Maybe he doesn't. Former 6th-round pick by the Jaguars. We'll see. If he continues to play like he did in the Hall of Fame game, maybe he pushes the spot as like the 53rd guy, or at worst practice squad. But I don't have him making it this video with how good his depth is at safety. Roster count now to 50, and obviously it's going to be rounded out here. Special teams, nothing changes here. Jake Bates, Jack Fox, and Hogan Hatton. We don't have another guy, so obviously that'll be the 3. Now moving on to the practice squad, which I do, and I don't see anybody else do in the space of Lions content, at least, or really even NFL content in general. So let's go ahead and get into it. The 16-man LLW Lions Live Wire practice squad. Quite a bit new stuff here. I got a new quarterback making the practice squad. If you checked out my last year's 53-man roster prediction, I did always do this sometimes where I always had a new position. I always had a new player of a certain position come in, and I do have a new player coming in here as a new emergency third-string quarterback coming in to be on the practice squad. As Kyle Allen did not play good in the Hall of Fame game, and I don't know who this guy would be, but just a new quarterback here is number 1. I do not have a running back making it, so nothing changes there. I still have Jackson Meeks making it. Still got Jacoby Keaton-James making it. I know how much the Lions like him, and I still think he will end up being good. And Tom Kennedy ends up making it. I didn't have him making it on the first 53-man roster prediction on the practice squad, but he ends up making it over Ronnie Bell this time, specifically for the fact that I really did not see Ronnie Bell last preseason, or excuse me, in the Hall of Fame game, but I saw Tom Kennedy quite a bit, so I'm going to go off of that. And obviously Tom Kennedy's been with us for, 5-6 years now. I think he's actually been with us for 7 years. Shane Zelsha continues to make it. Zach Horton does not make it this time around. Just did not really like what I saw from him in the Hall of Fame game. Caleb Waska makes it again as an emergency guard. Colby Sorsdahl sneaks his way back on the practice squad. I did not have him making the 53-man or practice squad the last time around, but he was arguably our best offensive lineman in the Hall of Fame game. Not a big fan of Colby Sorsdahl, but I will give him some props there. He was our best offensive lineman, arguably, in the Hall of Fame game. He can play tackle, he can play guard. He played guard first in the Hall of Fame game. So I got him making the 53-man roster here. Obviously, the former Lions 5th-round pick, so maybe just because of that, the Lions keep him around. And I do have Jamarco Jones making it this time around. Now, Jamarco Jones did not have a good Hall of Fame game performance. He had, I believe, 2 false start penalties. But at the same time, experienced tackle. He's undersized, so he can play guard if needed as well. And he's really the only veteran tackle here that I have besides Dan Skipper on the 53-man as a backup option. Colby Sorsdahl Young, if you want to include him as a tackle. Giovanni Manu, they probably would never play him unless if we had a lot of injuries. And what was the other guy? Like I said, Dan Skipper was the only other veteran experienced offensive tackle. So I got Jamarco Jones making it here on the practice squad. I do not have Mason Miller making it this time on the practice squad. I thought he played okay in the Hall of Fame game, but I got Jamarco Jones making it over him this time just because of experience. And what was the other one? I had Tristan Colon. Yes, that was the other one I was going to talk about. I had Tristan Colon making the practice squad. Actually, that was probably the biggest change to this video. I had Tristan Colon making the 53-man roster last time. I do not even have him making the practice squad this time around in my 53-man roster prediction 2.0. He does not even make the practice squad. I told you when we signed Tristan Colon a couple months ago, he was either going to be a starting center guard for us, or he was not even going to make the team or practice squad. That's what I said. Now, again, last 53-man roster prediction, I did have him making as our backup center. But this time around, like I said in the video when we signed him, I don't even have him making the roster since he's not going to be a starter for us this upcoming season. And he was playing with the third team, and I didn't think he looked very good in the Hall of Fame game. So that's also another reason why I didn't keep him here. Now, I believe that's the only change in the offensive line on the practice squad. I got Chris Smith making the practice squad this time around. Chris Smith I've liked a little bit more over the past couple of years now, especially last year. I like him a little bit more. I understand what the Lions view him now. They view him as a good, reliable veteran nose tackle who can come in and play at an okay level as a backup if injuries pop up or anything like that. I really didn't see him that much in the Hall of Fame game. Didn't think he looked horrible from what I saw, but didn't think he looked great either. But I just got to making it. He was probably my last guy to make the practice squad, but I went ahead and kept him this time around. Keith Cooper continues to make it. Didn't love what I saw from him in the Hall of Fame game, but I know how much the Lions like him, and I do see the potential in him, so I did have him continue to make the practice squad. Nate Glenn continues to make the practice squad. He was my first guy on the block to make the practice squad. He is my 54th guy to make the 53-man, but he obviously continues to make the practice squad here. Ezekiel Turner makes the practice squad over Anthony Pittman. That was probably the hardest one for me to choose. I chose Ezekiel Turner just because of his special team ability. He's probably our best special teamers, at least when it comes to linebackers. And I think he is our overall most flashiest depth linebacker when it comes to speed and all of that on the Lions roster. Eric Hallett makes it this time around. The Lions said he can play all over the field. He can play cornerback. He can play slot. He can play safety. So that's why I listed him here as a cornerback safety. Former 6th-round pick by the Jaguars. He sneaks back on the practice squad for me. Bounced on and off last year on the practice squad, but he's going to make it this time around and stick, hopefully. Ian Kennelly makes it once again. I liked what I saw from him in the Hall of Fame game. And then my guy, Maurice Norris, obviously makes it again. The only thing that changed here, I had Stanley Thomas Oliver making the practice squad last time around. He is no longer on the Lions. He got released with an injury designation, so he doesn't make it. And I think that's the only other thing that changed here. Pat O'Connor's on the practice squad last time, but he moves up to the 53-man this time, so that changes and gets replaced with Chris Smith. So there we go. And then moving on to the players who did not make the 53-man or practice squad for the Lions. Kyle Allen, Kyle Robichaux, Jabari Small, Jacob Saglers, Ronnie Bell, Malik Taylor, Kenny Yeboah, Zach Horton, tight end / fullback, Tristan Colon, Mason Miller, Michael Neese, Justin Haran, Miles Adams, Broderick Martin, oh my God, former Lions 3rd-round pick, unreal, 96th overall, Mitchell Agude, Isaac Ukwu, Anthony Pittman, probably the hardest one to cut in this video, Deron Gilbert, DiCaprio Boodle, Tassan Russell, Nick Whiteside, and Lauren Strickland do not make the Lions 53-man roster or practice squad. So leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Do you agree with this 53-man roster practice squad? Is there anything that I should have changed that I did not? Do you think we should keep Nate Lynn on 53-man? Do you think we should keep Jackson Meeks for whatever reason over Dominic Lovett? Do you think we should keep Maurice Norris? Do you think we should keep Tristan Colon as a backup over Kingsley Khan? Do you think we should keep 3 tight ends and you think me being a little bit stupid for only keeping 2? I don't know. Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. One Pride Go Lions. We'll be coming out with a 53-man roster prediction 3.0 after the Atlanta Falcons game in week 2 of the preseason. So look forward to that. One Pride Go Lions. Leave your thoughts in the comments down below.